Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Tournament Takes, and this is the Week 16 breakdown for the Draftkings NFL DFS slate. Hope you guys had an amazing day and an amazing holiday. Like I said, I would be back today with the final look for Week 16. I'm not really going to break it down game by game on DraftKings. Pricing is actually pretty good this week. They did a good job with it. So I'm not going to break it down this game by game this week, but I am going to go play by play on DraftKings and kind of figure out let you guys know the games that I'm on, the players that I'm on, and the best spots that I think you should be targeting to kind of wrap up this final 10 game slate that we have for the 2020 NFL DFS season. So let's get into it, guys. There's plenty of good options. If you guys like this video, if you guys enjoy the content that I'm bringing, if you guys enjoy the information, please like, subscribe, share it with your friends. I also have NBA content up on my channel. I'll break down the slates, maybe half an hour before, kind of tell you guys the plays that I'm on. Today ended up going very well. The Russell Westbrook pivot from Harden worked out pretty good. So, do check out that video. I really want to give you guys the best possible information. I don't get anything else out of this. I'm not, the channel isn't monetized. I'm not really selling you guys anything. This is just so that you can help you guys, cash some contests, make some money, and enjoy the life, enjoy the road to success. All right, guys. So let's get into it. There's plenty of good plays at the top. You have Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Watson, Herbert, Russell Wilson, Hurts, Roethlisberger. Right. I was on Mayfield earlier this week, but I decided, after hearing that Landry's out and Rashard Higgins is out, I'm no longer on Baker Mayfield. But I do like someone from that team, and I will let you guys know that shortly. Okay. So Patrick Mahomes at the top, he is a great option this week, guys. At 8,500, I think he can smash. The thing is, there's another quarterback that's a little cheaper that I think can also smash. Now, the thing is, if you're going to play Patrick Mahomes, you want to take his pass catches, right? And I think Tyreek Hill is kind of expensive at 9,000 and Kelsey's also really expensive at 8,500. Although I do like both of them very much, and I also like Demarcus Robinson a lot this week, guys. I think he's in a really good spot as well. Keep an eye to see if Tyreek Hill goes. I know he got a couple limited practices in, but he may not be practicing in full. A lot of people are going to be going back to Deshaun Watson in the Cincinnati game. Um, I'm not really on Deshaun Watson this week, and I'll kind of explain why. I like Deshaun Watson in the spot that he's in, but I don't think that Houston's going to need to throw it a bunch this week, especially because their rushing matchup is good, and because the Houston Texans defense has been playing really really well. Okay, like I said, I'm not going game by game. I'm going to hop around from here to there and kind of tell you guys where I'm at. But I really like the Houston Texans defense this week, guys. It's kind of like one of the first spots I saw on the slate and kind of wanted to plug in. I really want to get to the Houston Texans defense, and the reason is they've been playing a lot better. And we saw in good matchups against Detroit, they got 4 sacks on the quarterback, 2 defensive fumble recoveries, interception, and a defensive touchdown, 16 points. At 2,800, they're super cheap, so they're a value defense. I think they will be the chalk. I think they will be highly owned. But I think this is a spot where you don't want to get different. The only other one that I would consider this week for defense would probably be the Rams against Seattle, but Seattle can move the ball, so I'm a little less on them. I mean, the Washington football team's also not bad, but I really like the Texans, and it also helps that I'm not playing Deshaun Watson this week, so I really hope that the defense has a big day, because if they do, then Deshaun Watson doesn't need to throw as much. On the Cincinnati side in that game, Brandon Allen is a starter this week. The last week we saw, I think it was Monday Night Football, whatever. Finley had a rushing touchdown. He had, he only threw the ball 13 times, and they ended up beating Pittsburgh. Now, that to me is an anomaly. I don't see that happening again, and I don't trust Brandon Allen. Now, we also know that Tyler Boyd is out of this game, so you are going to get plenty of ownership on T. Higgins and AJ Green. Now, if you guys do like this game and you trust T. Higgins and AJ Green, I think they can get the volume, and they're cheap enough in prices to where it can help you fit in, a Patrick Mahomes stack if you want to. So, by all means, if that's something that you want to do, absolutely go for it. But I want to go for, the players that I feel on teams that can actually move the ball. If you want it, you can plug in something like this with potentially maybe Deshaun Watson on the other side. And one of Deshaun Watson's pass catchers, or Mahomes, Kelsey, and kind of figure out the build from there. But it's not somewhere where I'm going. I think they're good options, but not somewhere where I'm going this week, guys. So I really like at quarterback Lamar Jackson's also really good against the Giants. I think they are going to be able to run the ball. He is going to be able to get, a pretty decent matchup, but I don't think it's going to have that slate breaking upside. Now, the quarterback that I really like this week, guys, is a quarterback that broke the slate last week, 5,900 last week against Arizona, Jalen Hurts. Now, Jalen Hurts is getting a bunch of his receivers back. We have I think what's his face? $3,000 DESHAUN Jackson is coming back against Dallas. And, I think it's against the Giants or Dallas. DESHAUN Jackson, whenever he's in and he plays a full game, he tends to put up big numbers. I think this could be a really good spot from him. To me, this is a $20, Millie Maker tournament flyer lineup. I wouldn't mind playing him. But Jalen Hurts, guys, he has the upside. One thing I've learned this year and kind of in years past that, I really want to reiterate, the ceiling that you get with these high, these top tier quarterbacks, you can't really get those ceilings out of, someone that's around $4,000, $5,000. It's just not possible. The volume of which they're getting. Jalen Hurts also rushes for touchdowns, so I think it's solid. Now, Dallas on the other side, I really like this game because I also feel like Dallas can move the ball. We've seen Andy Dalton, and Philly is not good against the pass. So I really think that this game is kind of like last week where it could absolutely shoot out. So to me, this is the game stack of the week. I think it might be highly owned. People may go to the Rams in Seattle. I'm not really targeting pretty much any other games this week aside from that one, and pieces from Atlanta KC, pieces from the Cleveland and the Jets, and one piece from the Cincy and Houston. So what I'm doing, guys, is I'm going with Jalen Hurts, and I am stacking him this week with Miles Sanders. Okay, so I'll go back to the quarterback position. For me, the only play I'm playing this week is Jalen Hurts. I was on Baker Mayfield. I think he's still a good play. If you want to play Watson, you can. If you want to play Andy Dalton on the other side of that Philly game, you can. Or if you want to play Brandon Allen, I think you can. But I'm just taking the guy that I think is going to be able to break the slate once again. And I feel like that 7,000 price tag, people are going to have some sticker shock. But if he puts up realistically the type of ceiling that he has, he should be priced at 8,000. He is still underpriced, guys, and I think people are going to realize it after this week. Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders has been playing a lot better with Jalen Hurts in the lineup. So Dallas does give up the most points to running back, and the rushing O line for Philly is ranked in the top 5. So this is a spot where I am stacking both of them. Now they do take away from each other, but what you guys are going to notice is that it doesn't matter if the game is a shootout. You've seen in the Detroit against Green Bay game, you had Devontae Adams got there, Rodgers got there, and um, you know uh, Aaron Jones got there. So this is a game where I see if Philly's putting up 35 to 40 points, all of them can smash, and that's the kind of thing that we saw actually earlier today as well with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You saw Mike Evans smash, you saw Chris Godwin smash, you saw Gronkowski smash, you saw Leonard Fournette get a touchdown, and you saw Brady throw for 4, and they didn't even play the second half. I mean, Evans did, but you didn't. Brady didn't even play the second half. So this is the kind of game, guys, where I feel like this could be a close game. And even though Philly runs a lot and they run a lot of 2 tight end sets, I feel like both of these guys, Jalen Hurts rushes for touchdowns, and because he has the weapons, I feel like he's going to be able to move the ball. Now, another piece that I'm taking from this Philly game is Dallas Goedert. Dallas has not been good against the tight end this year, and Dallas Goedert, regardless, even with all these receivers coming back at 3,600, last year, guys, we were paying, for Zach Ertz volume, we were paying 7,000, and he was getting it done. Now, granted, Goddard hasn't been what he was last year, what Zach Ertz was in his prime, but in a plus matchup, he has that upside to absolutely get 20, 25 fantasy points. I don't know if he's going to smash that much, but I feel like he could get the 100-yard, 5 catches for 100 yards and a potential touchdown in this spot from Hurts. Now, Greg Ward, DeShaun Jackson also could take away from it, but last week I was on Greg Ward. I played him in 100% of my lineups. I just think this is a much better matchup for Dallas Goedert. Okay, so this is what I'm on the bring back, guys. I love Amari Cooper and I love CeeDee Lamb this week. Philly has not been good against slot receivers and they haven't been good on the outside. I think with Nickel Roby Coleman on Lamb, he's going to be able to eat that up. You could go Dalton Schultz if you want to. And you can also go, but for me, it's CeeDee Lamb. Also, one thing I want to mention with Philly, Dallas's linebackers are beat up. So I don't think they're going to be able to stop against the tight end and the run. So that's another reason why I really like it. I am doing a double bring back with Amari Cooper, guys. So this is my core build. This is kind of what I'm going with this week. I think this is what you guys should be doing in your lineups as well. Um, then at these spots, you guys can get a little different, okay? For the purposes, because it's DraftKings, I don't want to fill out the entire lineup, so I'm going to kind of leave it as is, and I'm going to go through the rest of the plays that I kind of really like, okay? So I'm just going to clear this out and just go through the rest of the plays that I really, really like, okay? At the running back position, guys, people are going to be paying up for Jonathan Taylor, maybe Austin Eckler, people are going to be paying for, and they're going to be paying up for David Montgomery. David Montgomery isn't a good spot against Jacksonville, but these teams play a little slower. He could get the volume at 7,700. It's not a spot where I'm going to. Like I said, I like the Texans defense. To me, the number one running back on the week is David Johnson. He's been getting it done in the passing game. He had 11 targets, guys, 11 targets last week, only 8 attempts, but he smashed his price tag and he was virtually unowned. He's still too cheap at 6,100 against Cincinnati. And if I'm not playing Watson, David Johnson is a guy I really want to go to. Also for Houston, we know that Duke Johnson is out. Procise is back, but I don't think that, he's really going to take all that much away, especially if the defense is doing well against Cincinnati. I think that this could be a spot where they just give the rock to David Johnson the entire game. So that's kind of another reason why I'm not really playing Deshaun Watson this week. I feel like if you guys are going to this game, you could just game stack it, play Watson, play. I think if you are playing this game, I definitely think you should play Watson along with David Johnson, the defense, and a wide receiver, and bring it back with two guys from Cincinnati and just go full game stack on this. So that's another avenue. If you really want to, you can. But for me, I'm just not doing that. So at running back, for me, I really, people are going to go to Nick Chubb because it's the Jets, because the receivers are out. For me personally, from that game, I really like. I'll get to tight end, but Nick Chubb, not really a place where I'm going, guys. So for me, the running backs are pretty much very condensed. It's going to be David Johnson, and it's going to be uh, who was the other guy? Oh, Miles Sanders. Those are my 1 and 2 guys. I'm rolling out lineups, and those guys are going to be all in my. They're going to be in all my lineups. So that's kind of plays that I'm really confident in. People are going to be taking shots on Melvin Gordon. It's a small slate. You can do that. 5,600. He's cheap. He's been getting the work. Not to where when I'm not really going to go. I like Giovanni Bernard again. If you're doing a game stack, I feel he is viable. You could take pieces, stack it a bunch of different ways. I do like that. At wide receiver, guys, I love Tyreek Hill in the spot. I think Tyreek Hill he can absolutely smash. On the other side, I do not like Atlanta at all. I feel like they can move the ball, but I don't want to pay premium $8,500 for Calvin Ridley. The reason is because I'm on that Philly game stack, and I'm just, to me, that's the game of the week, right? So I'm not really going to this spot as much. For me, it's just Tyreek Hill or bust. Now, if Keenan Allen's out, some people are going to be going to Mike Williams. Even with Landry out, people are going to be going to Marvin Hall. Marvin Hall is like a cheap $3,000 minimum receiver against the Jets. But again, if Baker Mayfield's not throwing the ball much, I don't know. I don't really, Jets are the worst against the deep pass, and Marvin Hall is a deep threat receiver. So you can definitely see this guy pay off his salary in one play. Like a 40-yard touchdown, and he's 4x, right? So, that's not a bad play that if you want to take a shot on. But me personally, I'm just not going there. Brandon Cook, some people will be on. I think Claypool, if you guys really want to take a shot, if you're building a little mid-range lineups, Claypool is someone I think can have a really big game. I don't know if Deontay is in this week, but if not, I think Claypool can really, really have a good week. Other than that, I'm really not on any of the wide receivers from Dallas. I just like Cooper and Lamb. I'm not really on Gallup. I don't think he's on the field as much as these two guys. And then obviously the Cincinnati value is going to be fairly chalky. Um, Other than that, some people might go to Crowder against Cleveland if you're running maybe a Nick Chubb and you want to run it back with Crowder. That's not a bad way to go. People might play Hansen. People might play Kiki QT. Some people might take some shots on Tim Patrick against the long passes against the Chargers. Again, not any spots that I'm going on. I do really like Demarcus Robinson. Now, Demarcus Robinson is on the field as much. He's not getting as much, as many targets as we've seen him get in past years. But against good matchups, he is getting it done. And again, this is another guy who can pay off his salary in one play. And he's a deep threat receiver. Lately, we've seen him run a bunch of shorter routes. So that's a little concerning. And with the return of Sammy Watkins, that's also going to concern some people. If you're dipping down into this 3,900 range, I really like Greg Ward. Demarcus Robinson is probably my number one cheap receiver. I do like Greg Ward. I also like Mooney in this spot, right? Because I think that it is a good spot for Mitchell Trubisky. If you're paying down for quarterback, you may want to stack him with Darnell Mooney. But for me, mostly it's just Demarcus Robinson. I may have a share of Greg Ward, but it's probably unlikely. It's just because again I'm going with the Dallas receivers, right? AJ Green, someone again. I think you can people. The idea is people are going to be paying $3,400 for AJ Green. You will definitely see some, about 18%, I would say 15 to 18% of ownership on AJ Green, maybe lower, maybe people are a little scared off, or maybe little people are a little smarter to it, and they decide not to go with AJ Green. People might play Denzel Mims at a cheap price, or maybe like a cheap jet stack with, Cleveland running back bring back. So some people might do some stuff like that. Just not somewhere I'm on. Travis Fulgham, 3,500 isn't again a good spot, but with Philly, with their receivers being back, that wide receiver trio is kind of crowded right now, so not somewhere I'm going. I think Cam Sims, guys, this week is going to be chalk. I don't know why. To me, he hasn't really done much outside of that one game. He did have 8 targets, but this is a game I see it's going to be on the ground. I think if you're taking a shot at running back, I think Antonio Gibson, if he goes, can be a good price at 6,600. But again, not somewhere I'm going. So at QB for me, again, Jalen Hurts is my number one and probably the only player that I'm going to play this week from quarterback. And if I had to play one more lineup, gun to my head, I'm going Baker Mayfield. More than likely Baker Mayfield. If I could afford it, Patrick Mahomes. Running back, I told you guys the two. Wide receiver, Tyreek Hill or Dallas value is what I'm going for, and potentially some value from Kansas City because Kansas City throws the ball a lot, right? So even if they're up, I still see them throwing the ball. At tight end, guys, this is a week where I really, really feel like double tight end can absolutely smash for you guys. You have Austin Hooper at 3,500 with none of their receivers out. And that's kind of why I was saying I didn't really like Chubb. Jets have given up the most points, fantasy points, to the tight end. And, Austin Hooper's back. We saw his first game back against, Pittsburgh. He went for 15 fantasy points. He was 10% owned on the showdown slate. He's someone I think he'll be chalky, but I think he's worth it. So something like this, 3,500 with Austin Hooper, and maybe going again another cheaper tight end in with Dallas Goedert, it really really opens up your entire salary. You could potentially get the Mahomes and Tyreek Hill kind of stack. So I am going to be also going double tight end in a lot of my builds. I will have some Kelsey mixed in the lineups that I'm playing, but for me at tight end, it's kind of Kelsey. It's for me, number one is Kelsey. I just think that he can smash this spot. Number two is probably Goddard because I'm playing, Jalen Hurts. I do want at least one pass catcher or maximum of one pass catcher, aside Miles Sanders. And I really like Austin Hooper. So those are the three kind of tight ends that I'm going to, guys. And then at defense, to me, it's either Texans or bust. I'm taking a very specific game script this weekend. I've kind of looked at the games and I've kind of really, really seen what I want. If you guys are really, you guys really want to play that Cincinnati value, do something like this. Go with Watson. Take some of those Cincinnati receivers. Take maybe AJ Green and take T Higgins. Take potentially take a Brandon Cooks on this side, and then go ahead and I think you really should pay up for Kelsey here and potentially maybe a Miles Sanders if you can afford it, David Johnson. Texans defense. So you are playing, essentially you're playing a Houston onslaught, right? And then 3,600 for your flex guys. You guys can play someone like either a Dallas Goedert, or you can play someone like Austin Hooper in that spot. So this is something that I really think that's very viable to do this week, guys. This Houston onslaught with the bring back, even with the Texans defense, is not bad, because all you need essentially is one pick six, right? A touchdown pick six. If you don't want to play Houston Texans defense, you can also go with, potentially even the Eagles defense. Like if you're playing Jalen Hurts stacks, you want to play, a pick six from the Eagles defense. So I really feel like the Texans defense in a good spot. I like the Rams in a good spot, and I like Washington. So that's kind of it, guys. I mean, this is another kind of build. If you guys want to do, you can. Personally, for me this week, it's just gonna be pretty much Jalen Hurts or bust. All right, so good luck, guys. We'll see you back here for some more NBA videos, and hopefully, if we have another NFL slate, DraftKings NFL slate, I'll be here to do the breakdown. But good luck this week, guys. Hope you guys cash your contest. And again, if you guys really like this information, subscribe, like, and share with your friends. I appreciate you guys viewing, and good luck tomorrow. Talk to you guys soon.